Okay, Michael, I have pushed the live stream. Now you can make me co-host.
Okay. Right, you are co-host. Are you going to let people in, or am I going to let them in?
Yeah, I will let them in.
Good, thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay. Hello, Charles. Your audio is off at the moment. Okay. Or in fact, it's not connected at the moment. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Wendy.
Hi.
Okay. Right, good to have you in class. We're waiting for the others to come in. Charles, can you hear me? Hello to you. Hello, Charles.
I registered, but I never received, one of those links, but that's okay. I found
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's so good to know. Brendan, did you hear that? Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. Usually I get an email, and then there's a
Yeah. They've made a lot of changes from yesterday. They've been working on them for months and they implemented them yesterday. So we need to have the feedback. Any feedback we can get would be valuable. Okay. So I will certainly pass that on if Brendan, the TA, didn't hear it. Brendan, did you hear that or not?
Sorry, Michael, can you say it again?
Yeah, Wendy was saying that she never got an email for a link for this class, and she booked. So I thought you would communicate that.
Sure, I will.
Thank you. Welcome. Who else we got? Tagar. Okay. Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, well, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, you got some mystery behind you, I see, huh?
A little bit of the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. Yeah, we're just waiting for a few more people that are coming in from the waiting room. So, and then we'll have some fun. Okay.
Okay.
And also some serious stuff as well. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Great. And there comes Sue. Hello, Sue. Welcome back. Yeah. Can you hear me, Sue? Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. Welcome. Okay. Right. Melinda, are you there? Can you hear me? You don't have a microphone connected at the moment. Yeah. Okay, we'll wait for it. That's fine. So I'm very interested to know what brought you to this particular class. Okay. Because it's the first time we hosting the class. It's of interest. A lot of people booked for the class, but I think there is trouble with the link, as Wendy said. Maybe people are having trouble with the links this morning because of a new Get Set Up technology that they're busy implementing. So maybe, Charles, do we start with you? What intrigued you to enter this class?
Well, my wife.
So you sitting there and she entered.
She's trying to get in. It says your book, but she didn't get the link either. So, but that's okay. I'm in and we're here. So,
okay.
We're doing it, and plus it's the fascination. These are always
That's
wonderful.
okay. I'll just listen in on him.
Okay. And yeah, so Wendy, what brought you in to this class?
Well,
new-
the description, my goodness, anything about Atlantis, I'm there. And I love ocean. I live by the Pacific Ocean, so this was right up my alley.
Okay, fair enough. And Sue, what brought you in?
I have always loved the water, and I was a lifeguard and a swim teacher many years ago. We've been boaters for the last 25 years, and I'm fascinated by. I read a lot of Clive Cussler, and one of my favorite shows was the Jacques Cousteau shows from many years ago.
Okay. Right, interesting. And let's move over to Sandy. Thanks, Sue. Sandy, why did you come into this class? What intrigued you? Hello, calling Sandy from the depths of the ocean. No. Okay, let's move on to Wanda. What about you, Wanda?
Yes, the description about the class and anything about Atlantis. And what was his name? Aquaman? Yeah, I was intrigued.
Fair enough. Okay, and Tegar, what brought you here? It looks like you just swum from your virtual background to the class.
Yeah. I grew around the water all my life, from Potomac River, Chesapeake Bay, James River, Atlantic Ocean. I just love the water and anything that goes with water, and I just care about life in water. Anything about animals, water, I'm there.
Okay, but these are about mysteries. So let's see. Yeah. So you're going to add another category to that, mysteries of water.
Yes, indeed. That's why I love the coral reef and how it plays a big part of the ocean. Yes.
Right. Okay. That's great. All right. I'd like to introduce Brandon, who's our TA today, and he's in class and will help you with anything that you want to be helped with, like maybe your video or your sound, or anything else you want to communicate, even to get set up. You can do it through him, like we're going to do now with regards to the emails that weren't sent and there weren't links. So he will let that know, and then in due course that will either be rectified or a new strategy will be put in place with a lot of new technology that's coming on board with Get Set Up in the coming months. So okay, well, let me share my screen, and we will start with a little explanation, because some of you, and a few of you have been in my other classes, and but some of you are totally new. So my name is Michael Plumstead, and I live in Perth, Western Australia. So the time has just gone midday now. And I guess if you are on the East Coast of America, it's probably midnight. Otherwise, yeah, I can see them. Okay, so it's great that you stayed up late for the class. Especially when your wife booked it and you had to stay up. Yeah. So yeah. And I guess if you're on the West Coast, then it's probably what, about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock.
There we are. Okay, great. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of things today, mysteries. And it's going to be a different class. It's going to be a different class for me, besides this being the first class. I'm also going to use a feature in Zoom with polling. So as we go through the class, maybe on 2 occasions, having told you all the facts or the fictions, you have to then say whether it's true or false. Now, we'll see how the process works. I'm sure it will work all right, but we'll see how it goes. So I will tell you stories of fact or fiction. That's the bottom line throughout the class. Then I will ask you if you believe if they are true or false. And none of this I've made up. Everything is out there, okay? But often people are confused whether it's fact or fiction, okay? And especially when it's under the sea. You know, we've been to the moon and we've got things walking around Mars, but you know, 71% of the Earth is covered in water, okay? And yet only 5% has been researched. So that really lends itself for all sorts of ideas of what is under there and stories about what is under there. So we've got a lot to explore. And if you enjoy this class, then I'll always get set up to do a few more, but that's up to you. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little trip from on top of Google Earth, and we'll just move around to somewhere, okay? Now, I'm going to just, I'm not sure if any of you have taken any classes in Get Set Up, doing with Zoom or doing with Google Earth, because I also do a class on Google Earth. So if one, let me just type something in here. Let's say, yeah, let's leave it at that, okay? And you click in and search, and there goes Google Earth down to Bermuda. Okay, and there's a picture on the top with some write-up about it, and that's where we are going to start with our mysteries under the sea. The Bermuda Triangle. It was first written about and recorded, as you can see on your screen, by none other than Christopher Columbus. And it's absolute, and from there right through to last year, there have been strange activities within the Bermuda Triangle. You know, when you think of Christopher Columbus, I mean, 1492 is a long time ago. Okay, it's really amazing, and ships were disappearing then, and the sailors were dead scared to go into this unusual place. They were recording then by Christopher Columbus that there were strange glowing objects coming out of the water, okay, and shooting towards the sky. And obviously people, when they're reading that now, they thought, well, Christopher Columbus saw a UFO. Then why are you laughing? It could be true.
A long time ago.
It's a long time ago, but wait till we get closer. All right.
Right.
So the Bermuda Triangle has been notorious, I guess better than famous, for giant vessels being destructed. You see, there's a vessel, there are these whirlpools. Now, these whirlpools do appear elsewhere in the oceans, okay?
What are they called?
Whirlpools, you see it on the slide, okay?
Oh, whirlpool, okay.
Okay, sorry, it's my accent. Yeah. So so ships have been drawn into what is also called the Devil's Triangle. Okay, and people have recorded that these aquatic monsters of whirlpools, that is, of whirlpool, are there in the Bermuda Triangle on a pretty regular basis, okay? Not necessarily as big as this one, you see, but they come in. But the Devil's Triangle, that says something that it makes it put a bit of chill in your back, okay? And the Bermuda Triangle, as you probably know, is located off the southeastern coast of the US, in the Atlantic, between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico, was it? Yeah,
Puerto
Puerto
Rico.
Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And it's really worldwide has become the center of mysteries and unresolved mysteries. Okay, that's why there's speculation, and that's why there are conspiracy theories, or perhaps they're not. Maybe they're just all true. It really is the inexplicable outcomes that make this highly studied by many people. Okay, people are still studying it to this day, and I'll show you what the American government has done as well. But there are many mysteries that are connected also to the Bermuda Triangle. But this Devil's Triangle has been blamed for a lot of disappearances of thousands of people in the past decades. Okay. Certainly in our century and the one before as well. So the other aspect is also so interesting, because today, even to today, there is a ghost ship which appears every night near the island of Chulu. And this is a belief that the ship carries the spirits of the people who have drowned at sea in the Bermuda Triangle for hundreds of years. Okay? This ship is strikingly beautiful, bright and gay, and is always surrounded by party music and laughter and sounds. However, it only stays for a few moments and then suddenly disappears and submerges under the water.
Wow. And reappears every night?
Yeah. If there are people to see where it appears, you see. So, but yes, it's been recorded as appearing every night for a few moments. Okay.
Any certain time, Mike?
Say again?
Any certain time does it appear?
No, it's just at nighttime. And, you can see in the picture there that it looks like a full moon in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's also more dominant at that time. But certainly the recordings are saying that with people reporting, it's as every night. Okay. It appears.
It looks like a pirate ship.
Yeah, doesn't it just? It's but there's something quite beautiful about it, especially in that picture. It's I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's sort of almost transparent sails. I don't know, and maybe it's the tone of the water against the ship. But it's rather beautiful.
Did someone take a picture of it?
I would have assumed so, okay, because there've been many sightings. So I found this with a lot of other pictures, okay. So this one just appealed to me. So you can go and search Mr. Google and see what you can come up with. The ship's name is called Kalish. C-A-L-E-U-C-H-E. Okay. Yeah, and all right. The other mysterious thing that you can see on your image there, I've got a compass. Now, just think about this. The Bermuda Triangle is the one place on Earth where a compass points to true north rather than magnetic north. The only place. Come on, go there now. Take your compass, okay? It's only in a section of the Bermuda Triangle, but it's there. And this has caused ships to go off course dramatically, because there's a big difference between magnetic north and true north, okay? So this variation, if it doesn't get compensated for by the captain, you could find yourself on the rocks quite easily. So,
In the hole.
or in the hole. Well, your compass is not going to take you out of the hole. You're right. So the ocean, in certain parts, it does slope down under the Bermuda Triangle, but it goes down and down and down, and it's one of the deepest spots on Earth under the ocean. We actually don't have instruments really that can go. We've had underwater topography of the area, and it could be a factor of why so many things just disappear permanently with no traces, is maybe because it's so deep, okay, and it goes down, from this gentle continental type shelf going down to these extreme depths. And so it's almost like trenches under the sea. It's really deep trenches, okay, which is also in itself unusual for a sea bottom, okay. Yes, you have mountains and valleys and things, but they're like trenches, and it's just weird. So much for that. But we've also had, I'm sure you've heard about them, you know about them. The first aircraft incident in the Bermuda Triangle involved actually a US Navy patrol seaplane in 1945, okay? 6 hours after leaving the naval station at Banana River, Florida, the flight radioed one final position report, but was never heard from again. Nothing. There are no signs of the planes, nothing, just gone. The same year in 1945, 5 Avengers aeroplanes were lost with 14 airmen on board. And,
India, you said?
Say again?
Whose planes?
Okay, that was it was a United States plane, okay, called the Avengers. They were smaller planes, okay, but they did have 14 airmen on board. Okay, it was called, the actual flight number was called Flight 19, and I think it's probably one of the most well-known of these disappearances, because it was, I think we grew up with them and heard about them, and yeah.
So you said another country's planes?
No, our plane. The United States.
Oh,
No,
okay.
United States, yeah.
Okay.
And in 1948, the first passenger plane went missing in the area. Now, we've, not too far, we've had passenger planes missing over Asia and places like that in the last decade or so. But this passenger plane went missing over the Bermuda Triangle. And this one was operated by the British South American Airways. Okay, I don't know if it still exists or not, but that's what it was. And the name of the plane was Star Tiger, and it was flying between Santa Marina in the Azores and Bermuda when it disappeared without a trace. Now, this is a passenger plane disappearing without a trace. No box, no bit of wing, no bit of clothing, nothing. Okay, so it's weird that there's just no wreckage at all. And you're not talking about a few people. I mean, there were 31 passengers on board.
Wow.
And, so yeah, that's that in itself is mysterious. Okay, but now let's just look at something else, which I don't know. I just, by its very nature, I find mysterious without anything mysterious being about it, and that is this. Okay, what you see now. But in fact, I want to just touch on something else before I go on to this. Before I go into the image, I mean, the latest news out of there is that a twin engine plane disappeared last year, in May last year, with no trace. Okay. And the plane had 4 people on board and suddenly disappeared from the radar. You see the radar? It just gone from the radar. And no sign of it. Okay. Another incident that happened recently was a cargo ship that sank, and no sign of it. Okay. and we're talking about last year. And there's recently been a discovery. Now, this is very interesting. There's recently been a discovery of pyramids deep, deep down, because we've now finally got the type of equipment that we can go deeper than in the past. Okay, they've now discovered 2 pyramids, but these pyramids are bigger than the pyramids in Egypt.
Wow.
That almost gives you the creeps. That's weird.
That's really saying something, because those pyramids in Egypt are huge.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they are. They absolutely are huge. And the final thing, just on the latest news, is that we've had a discovery. Okay, and I guess as all of us have been growing up, we've had these so-called discoveries, but now with better equipment and so on, we've now discovered a city deep down, deeper than we've ever been able to go before. Okay, now we don't know what city it is. Okay, yes, he's speculating it might be Atlantis, or we don't know what city it is, because there are a lot of cities under the sea, but this one and this particular place with these pyramids, you know, it's like weird. I just want to show you something on the actual image. You see this image here, the picture, you will see that there's a shadow under the water. Okay, that is the US Navy. They have built a place that goes under the water in the Bermuda Triangle. Why? You ask them why, they say, we're testing explosives and armaments and things like that. Okay, it's a testing site. Okay, you know, is that fact or fiction?
Can I ask you where the plane came from that was disappeared? Where did it take off from?
Okay, it was definitely it was going from North America to, still in North America. I can't, let me just have a look if I've got any notes about it. Let's have a look. You're talking about the one last year?
Yes.
Yeah, it was flying from Puerto Rico to Florida.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Can I ask you, did they ever, you said these pyramids are so extremely tall, bigger. Did anyone ever measure the depths of the whirlpool there?
Yeah, okay. Did they ever measure the depth of where the pyramids are now? You can see pictures of the pyramids, because now we have the ability. We have the ability to, with the equipment, with I guess it's called sonar equipment. Okay, you know, with living in this modern age now, computers and robot technology are really at an advanced level. But still, ships disappear, planes disappear. You know, and not being found, no clue, no incidents, no voice recorder or anything, not even modern planes. And then with these new discovered with the equipment now, there was a gentleman that's probably worth Googling at some stage in the future. He uses sonar, the latest sonar equipment. Obviously, he's an oceanographer, but Dr. Meyer Verlag, okay, Dr. Meyer Verlag, he discovered, now listen to this, that those pyramids are at a depth of 2,000 meters, and the use of other devices that he has at his disposal allowed scientists to determine that these pyramids were made of crystal or glass.
Crystal, wow.
And he said it's the closest he can come to describe it. He calls it like a crystal-like substance. Now, hey, a lot of things going about Atlantis City, that they use crystals negatively and for a lot of power, and used to fight with. In fact, they use crystals. But now just imagine that pyramid being, according to him, 3 times larger than the ones in Egypt, the biggest
Wow.
one. Now, I mean, that's you know, it said you've got the reference, you can go and find the reference, and you think, well, do I believe you or don't I believe you? Okay. Anyway, he has certainly made some really unusual discoveries. Now, finally, after all these decades, no, centuries, I guess, from Christopher Columbus. Now, he says, he poses the question. He doesn't make a statement. He poses the question, is this proof of extraterrestrial activity? Okay. You know, fact or fiction, you know, whatever it is, the past century has definitely swallowed ships and planes. That everybody knows. But simply disappeared? How can they just disappear? And hundreds of lives, where did they disappear to? You know, people don't get sucked down to the, you know, 2,000 meters, you know, things float. You know, but now comes the question. Okay, here comes the question. Did they disappear to another dimension? Yeah, we live in the 3rd dimension. Did they disappear to the 4th or 5th dimension? Is this like a porthole to another dimension? Ha ha. Ha ha. Okay. Wonder you're looking so serious. Okay. Okay. So that could be another solution. You know, we know there are other dimensions, okay, that maybe there's a place at certain times when they overlap, and maybe the crystal pyramids under the sea enhance that probability. And definitely the whole of the Bermuda Triangle, it's a very large area, okay, is recorded as the most UFO sightings, okay, in any sort of single location in the world. So, you know, alien abductions has been a popular theory for people missing. But it's not the only theory. There are other theories as well around this. But, you know, you've got to also ask yourself, and you're looking at that, and you're looking on the slide, there's a picture of a city. You know, what, you know, is it part of perhaps Atlantis? Is Atlantis down there? What's causing all this unexplained phenomena? Okay, so now we come to the next part of the experiment of this class, okay? And that is, you've got to tell me true or false. That's it. Okay, I'm going to give you a poll, and you've got to just say what I've said all the way from the beginning through to now. You know, has that been true or false? So let me see if I can find my polls. There we are. Can you just tell me if you can see the poll?
No.
No.
You can't. Okay, so that experiment failed. Down we
Yes.
died with no trace of it. Let's try a different one.
That one.
Can you see that one?
No, you had it on there in the beginning before you started screen sharing. It was on there.
You can't see the one that's on there now.
No.
I'll solve the problem. We've just got to keep trying. Okay, let's try that one. Do you see the white screen now?
Yeah.
Susan, yes.
Oh.
Okay, you
It's
might
so
have to.
tiny.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll make it bigger. If that's going to help at all. No, probably not. Okay, it's.
Oh,
What I'm
okay.
gonna do- the question is Bermuda Triangle. Is it fact or fiction? And you've got to click on true or false, or you're unsure. When I launch the poll, okay, I'm going to launch the poll. The poll hasn't been launched yet, so and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at it. So here goes the launch. I'll give you a couple of seconds just to make your choice, and there we are. Can you see it?
No, you touch it.
There we are. Go for it. Okay. Has everybody voted? Okay. No, I don't think they have. Okay. I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to stop the polling now. And I'm going to share the results. Can you see the results shared? Yes. Okay. So 83% of you agree that it's true. Okay. And 17% said no. Okay. All right. So that's the start of the experiment. I'll know next time what to do without having to run around the experiment course. So now I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to go back to what we were sharing. Okay. Okay, can you all see the Bermuda Triangle? Okay, the latest experiments, that's it. Okay, so we're back to where we were. So most of you think everything I've said is true or false. You're fortunate, because I don't know whether it's true or false, okay? But I tend to vote with you because I think a lot of it is true, okay? I really do, you know. I love conspiracy theories, but I certainly, when so much is backed up by fact, especially now with science, that's another issue. And yeah, you know, now we must move to another place, okay? That was the poll. Okay, I forgot I made a slide with the poll on it. Okay, so now we're looking at something else, okay? And I'm not sure what will happen if we actually go back to our satellite, Google Earth, and we type in that, okay, and let's see where it takes us. You can clearly see the picture on the right of the screen up here. Google Earth is pointing towards the Antarctica, okay, and so we can't get into and under the ice, but that's an indication that that Antarctica is there waiting for somebody to discover it. So the lost city of Atlantis. I'm not sure. The reason I bring it up now is because you partly believe that it's under the Bermuda Triangle there next to North America. And it could be, okay, but we're not sure, okay. And definitely the crystal-like pyramids indicate it could be there, but you know, Jenny, I've always believed that it's been part of the Lemurian continent, and and that stretched also with, we're not sure just how far. We know exactly where the bulk of it was, but we think we do. But Antarctica, it could be. You know, there's been many theories that the triangle itself is the home, and but the energy crystals really is what pushes that, as I said to you before. But I'm not sure that that is the case. Okay, so I posed the question: was Atlantis part of the continent of Lemuria? Maybe that's a starting point. Okay, there've been many discoveries of cities under the sea, and I'll mention the various locations in a minute. But and then, of course, you get lots of people who draw what they think they look like, and then you get the actual pictures of the decay under the sea. So, yeah, I think the Bermuda Triangle is the home to the lost city of Atlantis. Okay, I'm not sure. What I've done now is moved just away from the Antarctic, because I want to deal with, time allows us just to deal with one more, which I thought would be Lemuria, because that is fascinating. That is fascinating. I'm going to tell you facts that I really believe you don't even know about. Okay. And I think Lemuria was part of Atlantis, but I've got a feeling Atlantis was some of the the bad guys, the selfish guys, the type of society maybe that we live in right now. And the Lemurian was that beautiful, peaceful. But let's go between. That's where it lies. Okay, there's a lot of evidence that it lies between me and you, from Australia to North America. Okay, that there was this content, and there is still some evidence of it as well, that perhaps didn't sink, and that's an island here that that's got these amazing structures, and it's called Easter Island, and you know, we could if we have time, we could put it onto Google Earth and have a look at Easter Island. But Easter Island is like really weird, and it's right where the theorists say that Lemuria was there. Now, the Lemurian race was or is a combination of people from all over the universe, okay, from Sirius, the Pleiades, Alpha Centauri, and a number of smaller planets. Over time, they merged and became this beautiful Lemurian society. They gave birth to other civilizations as well on the planet, but the people of Lemuria were highly spiritually evolved. They could easily move between the third dimension that we live in now in this physical world to the fifth dimension as easily as blinking an eye. There was plenty of food in the entire continent for everybody. Nobody went begging at all, not a single person. Okay, so it was literally heaven on earth, and it was like that for a few million years, and so it must have been really quite paradise, like paradise. Okay, but is that all that remains? Are there Lemurians living elsewhere? Perhaps. Okay. I'm not going to do that poll now. I'm going to move to this. This is what is really intriguing, and that is what the two pictures you see in front of you now. Okay, they're the same mountain. Does anybody want to offer a suggestion where that mountain or what part of mountain range? I mean, you can see the name of the mountain, but do you know the mountain?
Yeah, it's in California, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, Northern California.
Right. And this Mount Shasta, they believe, let's just say they for that, okay, you can tell me whether you believe later, that under Mount Shasta, deep under Mount Shasta into the earth, there is a city called Telos. And the city is made out of crystal, located inside Mount Shasta, and is inhabited by higher dimensional beings called Lemurians. They moved here after a thermonuclear war with Atlantis, which then destroyed both of them. Okay. But Mount Shasta, being part of the Cascade Mountain Range, as you say now, which runs from Northern California into Oregon and all the way up to the Canadian border, I believe. Mount Shasta is believed to be one of the most electrically charged mountains in the world. Electrically charged. Okay, if I was in that area, I would definitely go and pay it a visit. The whole area is also buzzing with energy. This area is believed to be the base of Mother Earth's energy system. Okay, that's apart from the Lemurians, but that's one of the reasons they moved there all those thousands of years ago. Okay, because they knew they were going to find themselves in deep water. Okay, now we move across a place called Kailash And you actually see the top of the picture there. It's not a very good one from this angle, that the peak is actually a pyramid, okay, of Kailash. And some of the Lemurians, when they knew, because I mean, they were highly psychic, and they knew that their time was up. And so some left and went into Mount Shasta. The other ones came to Mount Kailash. And subsequently, they've actually joined them, okay, with tunnels very, very deep in the earth. So they chose others that didn't go to those two mountains, chose to go back home out of space, and took their spaceships and moved out. But let's just talk about Mount Kailash, because it is known historically now. You wonder where these names come from, as the stairway to heaven. It is without a doubt the most intriguing mountain range in the whole of the Himalayas. Okay. As a matter of fact, the Mount Kailash is 22,000 feet from the Tibetan plateau, which is largely considered to be inaccessible, okay? But everyone living in the area will confirm that there are strange energies residing in that mountain. As the theory goes, that Kailash, it's the mountain, mysteriously calls people to it from all over the world. Okay, and no one who answers that call returns and never speaks about it, except to say, Kailash is about the journey and opening yourself to new perspectives. Everybody that goes to visit is changed and comes back more spiritual, more changed within themselves because of the energy that is there. There are a lot of interviews of people that have been there. You can do from east, west, south, north. Okay, people are attracted there, and for the followers, obviously, I think it goes without saying that of the past great religions like Buddhism and Hinduism and Bon, Kailash is the center of the universe for them. It's the seat of spiritual power. And they call it the summer residence of Shiva and home to the Buddha of supreme bliss. So it is not something to conquer, okay? And it's a symbol of transcendence. Nobody has climbed and reached the summit. Many have tried. And it's not a particularly high mountain, okay? I mean, there are a lot higher mountains in the Himalayas. So what hides inside the mountain that emits the unusual energy from both mountains? There's an attraction to this place coming from the heart. People feel a heart energy. They talk about the heart energy when they've been there. And even before they arrive, they talk about a feeling that they needed to be here. So do not be surprised if you find your nails, for example, have grown by a few millimeters after returning from up the Mount Meru trip, they call it, because that's what happens. Okay, many tourists have spoken about the air that is around this ancient peak, and it also increases aging. Okay, so they age a lot quicker. They talk about a group of unauthorized climbers of Siberian origin reached ahead of a certain point that anybody else had reached and immediately aged by a few decades.
Oh, no.
Shocking to everybody. And but that wasn't the end of that story. Every one of those same people died a year later. Wow.
Can I ask you, where is it located, this Mount Kailash?
In the Himalayas. They're on the border of India, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then there have been people that have written about it, and there was Jones was her surname. What was it? Lewis. I think Lewis Jones, who died probably about 10 years ago or so. She wrote books about it, and she offered glimpses. She had some sort of, I don't know, psychic ability maybe, but she could also, look into the fifth dimension, like a lot of people can at the moment in our current world. And she wrote books back then, sort of, I think she died about 2009, 10, somewhere there. Her books offer glimpses of our own future when we spiritually awaken and evolve our consciousness to where the Lemurians were in the fifth dimension. So your body, everything is living in a fifth dimension, but you're living on Earth. Okay. So there have been people that claim now around the planet and in amongst the population that they have have Lemurian ancestry and so on. And it would be quite possible if there were Lemurians down there. It means they've also come up, but also they have technology to still take them to other planets, because in the fifth dimension we won't see them. They can turn their spaceship invisible and shoot out unnoticed, maybe just with a spark of light or something. So interplanetary connections seem to be, both mountains that I've spoken about now seem to be very heavily involved with contact with other people. But remember, Lemurians are not aliens. Okay, they are human beings. Okay, they are humans. Okay, they're on Earth. They were on Earth. They weren't. Okay, so they just learned to work with the quantum physics. Okay, and the quantum field. We've only recently, in the terms of centuries, discovered that. So they found a pathway in the fifth dimension frequency. So, it's effortless to them to move from one to the other. Do you think that person is a Lemurian? Do you think it's a true painting of a Lemurian? Lemurians were definitely, from the research that's been done now, they were about 7 foot tall on average across them. So they were just a lot bigger than we are today as humans. And so, yeah, they have hidden, waiting for the Earth to understand quantum physics and be able to understand that they can easily live in the fifth dimension while being in the third dimension. And that then makes certain things like gratitude and love and kindness and caring for each other and sharing become a second nature, because that's what the Lemurians were. And the story goes on that they have links to the Galactic Federation of Light and Wisdom in the Pleiades out there in the space. So Sirius and other star constellations are all part of that Galactic Federation. Sounds like Star Trek, doesn't it? So I know this I know that might sound a bit ridiculous, but they actually do have these abilities, okay? And they do make spaceships invisible, okay? And so one gets to a point where you got to think to yourself, now, what do I think? Is it true or is it false? Is what we have heard about Lemuria true or false? So let's just take this this vote again, and hopefully this time I'm going to get it right without any. We're going to stop sharing, and we then went to the polls and we found the polls, and then we shared so that you could see that. And right, you can now see the poll. The question is the Lemurian continent and its people fact or fiction? That's what you have. Launched the poll. You can see the poll. Vote. Okay. Let's have a look at what the results of the poll. Let's finish now, and we'll go back and we'll share the results. Much closer this time. 29% are unsure. Okay. And some 43% think it's fiction, and 29% think it's fact. Okay. So as humans, we're not sure between, what we believe or what. Let me just change that and stop sharing. And come on, let's close that. And now we'll go back to where we were. I'm glad I've learned to do that. Right. So most of you think it's false, and a lot of you are unsure. Okay. So anyway, in conclusion, okay, I want to just whet your appetites, and I want you to encourage Get Set Up to allow me to do Atlantis. Okay. Who were the Atlanteans? Okay, where are they today? Okay, do you know that that NASA regularly scans the Antarctic with a specially built plane? Do they know something that we don't know? Is the Antarctic melting? What will we find when it melts? Okay, look, that's what we're finding already. We're finding pyramids coming away. We've seen that. It's in the common media. Will we find the city of Atlantis around those pyramids that are coming out? I should have been a radio announcer or a TV. I love it. All right, everybody, that is really super. The class has come to an end. I'll take any comments or any questions, but nothing rude, please. Okay.
I just enjoyed the class. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. Thank you. Thanks to God. That's great. Nice to know being a first class. So
it was very nice. Thank you, Michael. It was very nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Michael. I enjoyed it. Very nice.
Yes, my wife kept me up for this, Michael.
Yes.
But I hope it was worth it, Charles.
It was.
Yes, it was very
It was.
nice. Yes. What time is it there where you are?
Yeah, we are 1 o'clock now. 1 p.m.
Here at 1 o'clock there.
I see.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
very interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Very informative, and I've heard some, like you say, with the ship, that freighter, they keep questioning whether that actually was lost in there. There seems to be some discrepancy on the story, so
Yeah.
that freighter is still a good story, but they're not clear. I don't know if the government will ever tell us what really happened.
Absolutely. But when there's nothing is clear, that leads to conspiracy theories and
Yes.
stories, and it's fun because some of it is definitely true, some of it is not. But who knows what?
I would really like to hear about Atlantis.
Okay, well, let Get Set Up now, because I've got it in my head. But I haven't got it on the class.
Well,
Okay.
we'll catch you the next
Thank
time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Bye, Michael.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
And thanks, Brendan.